Special thanks to Graffiti Games and Lurkit for providing a copy of Blue Fire for me to play. Blue Fire is a solid platforming adventure, a game worth the time and money it asks for, and there's good value in the $20 and 20 hours required to get the relatively straightforward platinum. But its greatest selling point is offering a pleasant and easygoing experience derived from the simple mechanics of exploration and discovery. It's here in the forefront of playing that you can sense that Blue Fire understands something basic about what shape game development should take on, and it achieves, as an indie, what many big budget titles fail to deliver on. A level of focus maintained on central activities that move the game forward while keeping the player engaged throughout. So many modern games sidetrack the player with mundane tasks and repetitive gameplay sequences in an effort to pad the runtime. But here in Blue Fire, you know what to expect early on as you jump right into the action and first encounter the nuance of puzzle solving and riddles that gradually grow in complexity and enjoyment, each presenting you with a test of your thinking abilities and dexterity, exercises of what you know and what you've learned while playing. The game gives you plenty of hints about what's going on in its story and its world, but the pieces of the puzzle are scattered for you to find at your own leisure and with your own intuition. And as you start to acquire more of them, you also begin to appreciate the thought behind the design and arrangement. Blue Fire takes place in the floating castle city of Penumbra, a colorful land terraformed by the elements of fire and ice, light and dark, where the creatures squeak and squabble in an ancient language, and look to you as the player of an unnamed character to save them from the force that threatens the balance. It's a familiar story in a game with familiar design qualities, but it has enough originality and substance to be well regarded among the genre's best. The primary function of the game is platforming, a delicate measure that evolves into full-on hardcore parkour with intense sections of wall running, jumping, and air dashing that will, once you get the hang of it, give you sweaty palms and fist-pumping satisfaction upon overcoming the obstacles. Whether you strictly follow the main path or tiptoe your way through the voids, each of these levels is well made and feels complete because of the atmospheric imagery and soothing sounds of the original soundtrack. Blue Fire is layered with non-linear areas that can only be reached as you progress through the game by answering riddles and uncovering the upgrades that will allow you to solve the platforming puzzles. What's interesting about this is that you can navigate to new places freely, but you have to figure out on your own where to go and how to get there, and will commonly find yourself unable to advance without making use of a particular skill that is not necessarily found in an exact order. That way, the game stays fresh while giving you a fair grade on your skill and your problem-solving abilities. There's also combat spread out across the different sections involving standard melee and RPG elements, but it's mainly there for the sake of adding an extra degree of difficulty to the platforming that's often incorporated in with it. There's creativity and variety to the enemies and their attacks, but it's mostly something you can skip unless you want to farm for currency to buy upgrades, which are plentiful and unique and may be needed for certain more difficult puzzles and encounters. The boss fights, however, are eventful, and they have their moments of intensity. You will meet plenty of quirky Npcs that have upgrades you can buy, quest lines and riddles you can complete, gaps in the lore to fill, and humorous moments to share. There are even emotes that you can mess around with and costumes you can wear for the fun of it, or to be used in other clever ways. These details, both big and small, are balanced out in such a way that makes Bluefire feel as worthwhile as some $60 games, and more so than a lot of others. For the enjoyable atmosphere, the challenge of the platforming, easy and fun trophy list, and overall quality of production, Bluefire is an 8 out of 10. A good game, high form, top tier, distinguished, especially for an indie. I'm glad I got to play it, and I think you might too.